Hey guys, welcome back. Today I want to talk about why you stay stuck and how simple it is to get out of it if you just do the right things. So, for example, right now there's all these AI tools, all these frameworks, all this information, and it's pretty easy to get caught up in this cycle of trying to learn all these things and stay up to date and think you're progressing and you're getting somewhere. But all that does is keep you in this perpetual state of learning but never applying. Because, I mean, with how quickly things are developing, you're never really going to be fully caught up to anything. So that's why you need to kind of gain clarity on what it is you need the tools for. So, for example, if you want to start a business and all businesses is solving a problem, if you're not clear on the problem you're solving, you really don't know what tools you're going to need. So let me use myself as an example. Before I wanted to create YouTube videos, or when I was thinking about creating content or starting anything, what I would do was get into this YouTube tutorial hell, where I would just be consuming information ad nauseum, but not really using it. And all that did was give me this false sense of accomplishment because I would just keep learning something, then go back and learn a new thing, and always think, oh, I'm going to be so prepared when I start. But in reality, I never started, right? Because I was just consuming mindlessly for problems I never had. So the way I got around that was writing my problems down and just like a notebook, getting a notebook, and essentially was all it took was writing all my problems down and kind of just going through my thought process, my goals, issues I ran into, how I solved certain problems, ideas, brainstorming. And that actually became the catalyst for a bunch of things. And it revealed stuff that I didn't know I knew, or problems or solutions I didn't know I had. So I'll give you another example. I was working with like some ghostwriting clients and marketing tools, or helping people with marketing tools, and part of it was doing these little email courses where I would create the email course and then create an account for the client on another piece of software. And I was talking to one of my buddies explaining this whole process, and he goes, why aren't you creating the software? Why aren't you hosting the software yourself? Right? Why didn't you just make the software? Why are you sending them to a third party? And it took me a minute, and I was like, I don't know. Um, and that was a catalyst for Postman, my software as a service right now for email marketing. But I wouldn't have had that conversation, and he wouldn't have been able to give me that advice had I not laid everything out on my notebook. Because all this was me on a phone call with him, walking him through everything. Because I was trying to kind of just fix an income problem and like a system problem. I didn't like the way things were laid out. So I was just walking him through that, and that's where he honed in on that one piece, where he noticed I was handling everything else, but then this part was handled offsite. It was offloaded to somebody else. And again, it kind of gave me clarity on how easy it was, or how valuable it was to just have a simple notebook system. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. So my system is pretty simple. It's either on the physical side, it's a notebook, and on the digital side, I use a combination of Obsidian and then Apple Notes. So the main thing I need you to know is you need Obsidian, and then I use Claude as the AI tool here. So what you want to do is you want to make an Obsidian account, and then grab your Claude account, and you would just use Cowork, and you would take Cowork, Claude, and let it work in your Obsidian vault or your Obsidian folder, essentially giving Claude access to your Obsidian files, your notes. And you would obviously want to have this project or this folder separate from other things. But the goal here is that you use Claude to go through your notes and your brainstorming and all your little ideas and let it figure stuff out for you. So in this case, Claude would do what my friend did for me. He realized there was a gap in my knowledge or in my system, and he helped me solve it. And that's where, in this case, Claude would do the same thing, but obviously at a larger scale, right? Because you're giving it access to all your notes. And the reason I'm saying all this is because a lot of times we get caught up with the tools, right? But we don't know where to use them. So what this allows you to do is to kind of hone in on one thing you're working on, one project, one problem, and then the tools will reveal themselves to you. In this case, my tool that I needed to use was Claude Code and a few YouTube videos to figure out how to spin up a piece of software and then get everything going after that. And it worked. I mean, right now I have 2 users. But those were the clients I was working with earlier, and then I was able to transfer them over to my software. And it was just because I had clarity from a notebook, and then my friend, and also AI. So whenever I went back through my notes and had AI go through them, because I was working on Postman and I had a few issues, the Claude was able to pinpoint, hey, this could be a good feature for Postman. And it was an MCP, where basically it allows the user to leverage AI to kind of access and like manipulate like the platform or the program. So in this case, it would be you can prompt Claude to get access to Postman to create landing pages and lead magnets with just a few prompts, and you wouldn't have to do anything else, right? You can just adjust things as needed, and you would just kind of send it, and a funnel process that maybe took you a few hours could take you a few minutes. And again, that was just from notes and then AI going into the same notes that I was writing and giving me that insight that I wasn't noticing before. I mean, all that is to say, you have the answers you need, like they're in your head, but focusing on new tools or new systems isn't going to help you if you don't know what they're for, right? Because then you start getting into this weird preparatory phase where you're trying to learn advanced tools when you haven't even gone into like a beginner stage. You haven't even started doing anything, and you're trying to worry about 7 steps down the line. So that's where this notebook, this system kind of goes in and lets you kind of dial in and kind of bring the scope down and see, okay, what's the problem I can solve right now that I'm not noticing. And in my case, it was just a software problem. And again, it's a way to help you avoid procrastination by researching, because like, let's admit it, anything other than doing the work is just procrastinating. That's it. So I hope that gives you a little bit of actionable advice, right, on what to do when it comes to getting out of that stupid cycle and that vicious cycle of consuming and not applying, consuming and not applying. And the solution is pretty simple, man. I'm telling you, you got to write stuff down. Writing stuff down is such a good ROI, man, because you clarify your thinking, you realize you've been tiptoeing around the problem that you had, that you've been ignoring it just because it's not, when you're dialed in, right, and you're focusing on everything else and your mind's elsewhere, you don't make space to see those things and to let your mind work on that problem, because you're just, oh, Claude Design, oh, a new GPT 5.5 or a Codex or Fable, like it's not, you don't need all those, you don't need any of that. A lot of times the solution to your problem is so simple but you're so caught up on learning and being so good that you're actually overcomplicating it. You're like over engineering it. Imagine, um, I'm trying to think of like just a scenario for overkill, right? It's like using a flamethrower to light a candle. You're gonna destroy the. You're burning everything down. All you need is a match, and then light it. That's it. But we want to. Oh no! Well, what if we have a you know, whatever. Like, what if we have TNT because it would ignite? And what the fuck? No, just get the match. You know, to light the fire. It's not that. It's not that hard. So don't get caught up in distracted thinking. You need all these crazy things to get to where you want to go. A lot of times the answer is very simple, right? And right now the best way to do it is to write it down on a piece of paper or on Obsidian. Write down your goals, your goals, your notes, brainstorm your ideas, a problem you're having. Find out the problems you're already solving now for people and see if there's a way for you to capitalize on it. And you'll realize pretty quickly you're closer than you think, and you're actually just spending time elsewhere hoping to be productive when you're not. So, dude, hook up Claude to Obsidian, get after it, and you'll realize how much quicker you'll get stuff done. Thanks for watching.